Hi there, this is the second part of planning of the PDCA cycle. Okay, so we're talking here about how to prioritize tasks. So we've worked out what our goals are, and we've checked them against our SMART acronym, and we've broken them down into individual tasks. So we then have to look at our tasks in terms of various factors, and the first factor is the size of the task. A task which is less than an hour, we call it a small task. A task that is larger than an hour is a large task, and any task that is longer than an hour, you have to try and break it down as far as you can into tasks that are smaller than an hour. So you have tasks and subtasks. It's interesting to note that many years ago, when I was at university, I was in a lecture, and this lecture was about how it's not possible for a human being to concentrate for any longer than about an hour at a time. And this was a lecture that went for 2.5 hours. I'm not sure if it was meant to be humorous or not, but I was pretty tired at the end of it. So, ultimately, when it all comes down to it, a human being cannot really concentrate for more than an hour at a time. Your concentration starts to wane as you get tired, so you need regular breaks. So for every task that you do, you should have a break. Of course, if that task is 5 minutes, you don't have a break. But if a task is about an hour long, you do your task and then you have a little break. Refresh your mind. And then you do another task, and that might be another hour, and then you take another break. Okay? And you have regular breaks. We'll come into rest at a later stage, not right now. But when you're working out tasks in pursuit of your goals, you have to make sure that each task is less than an hour. And when you've got all your tasks that's less than an hour long, it's much easier to put them into a schedule, your daily routine. And then you know exactly what you're doing and when you can have your breaks, and you know that you're not going to get overtired with all these tasks that you're doing. The second thing about tasks is you have to ask yourself whether you are capable of doing the task. Do you have all the knowledge that you need, all the tools that you need? Do you have any training material that you need to be able to do this task? If you cannot do this task, then you might need to do some research to find out how to do it, or you might have to ask your boss, hey boss, I need some training for this, or I need a piece of equipment, or whatever it is. But you need to assess your task to see if you are capable of achieving that task, whether you have all the material that you need to be able to do it. And finally, you need benchmarks. You need for every task to be able to set a benchmark for it. How good has this task been done in the past? It might be in terms of a certain level of quality, or it might be a certain level of time. It might even be a quantity. If you're doing a particular task and you have to create some things, you might need to do a certain quantity of these things. But quality must not be compromised. If you have to make something, if you're making a fishing tackle, a fly fishing tackle. I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't fish. But you're making some of these, and you want to make more of them over the same time period. It's about quantity. Well, it is, but you must not let your level of quality dip when you're making these things. So it's actually not about quantity. It's about making sure that you have a specific level of quality that you hit time and time and time again, and making as many as you can in a certain period of time to a certain standard. And the standard is what's important, not how many you can make. You can always make more. You can always rush things and make more of things, but then your quality is going to drop. And when your quality drops, that's not so good. So you've got to keep that level of quality. It's all about quality, getting these tasks done to a specific level of quality. Okay, so these are your tasks. So you need to break your tasks down until they're in small enough chunks so that each one lasts for less than an hour. You need to be capable of achieving this task and making sure that you've got all the equipment and the material that you need to be able to complete your task. And you need to set the benchmark, because remember, you're going to compare what you planned and what you did. So you've got to have a benchmark for this as to how well it's been done in the past, either by you or by someone else. Then you can assess whether you've been successful or unsuccessful in your task. Okay, in the next one we're going to move on to part 3, which is our Eisenhower matrix, which you might not have heard of, but we will see.